Hey there, it's Shauna. Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for October 15th. So this week is all about the power of words because this week the planet Mercury is very active. Mercury is making many aspects this week, so that means you'll have many opportunities to express yourself through words and to work things out in your mind in a very linear fashion. So as always, I'm very excited to share the astrology of this week with you. And then as always, as well, I have 3 tips for you to make the most out of this week. So first things first, we have the first quarter moon in the sign of Capricorn. So this is happening Tuesday at 11:02 a.m. Pacific time. And it's happening at 23 degrees of Capricorn. And so this is happening because we have the sun in Libra, and then the moon is going to square the sun, creating that first quarter square. It is what's called the opening square. It's this sense of momentum within the lunar cycle following the new moon, which we had last week, new moon in Libra. And it's a time when there's initiation and action, and you may feel called to action. You may feel I find sometimes with the first quarter moon point, there's this feeling of like needing to either decide, like, okay, are you gonna commit here or there, to parse things out? And sometimes it feels like you need to really make a decision about something. So, of course, I encourage you to do that. And this being the sign of Capricorn, Capricorn is about the practical facts. It's like, okay, what's the long game? What's the long term? And there's more serious tone here. So if you're feeling more serious, don't fret. It will pass. And it's definitely a time of getting down to business, especially Monday and Tuesday. The other thing that's happening this week is Mercury will conjunct Venus. So that means Mercury and Venus will be together in the same point in the zodiac. So that's going to be at 9 degrees of Scorpio. And side note, all of the degrees that I give to you, those are all tropical. So tropical, 9 degrees of Scorpio, Mercury and Venus will be together. This is not something that I would normally mention, but it's important this week because Venus is also retrograde. So we're paying more attention to Venus and aspects to the inner planets than we normally would. So Mercury is the mind, communication, thought process. Venus is relationships, sex, beauty, aesthetics, even music and things like this. So this is a time where especially around Venus retrograde issues, like reworking what it is that you value, reflecting on your relationships, and how you are in relationship, what your attachment styles are, all of those things are up for review over the next 5 weeks or so. And so with Mercury making a conjunction, this is like, okay, we can put words to this. We can think about it. And you may find that you have like an aha moment or something, or it's like maybe you can express yourself in a way that you weren't able to before. Definitely a good time to contemplate your values, your relationships, how it is that you interact in relationship, how it is that you are. And then, of course, as always with Venus retrograde, you can look at your personal birth chart to see where Scorpio is in your birth chart, to see what area of life this may be playing out in, whether that is your 10th house, career, 4th house, home, 7th house, more one-on-one relationships, etc., etc. The other thing that's happening this week is Mercury, later in the week on Friday, will square Mars and trine Neptune. So we already know Mercury is about thought process, communication. Mars is about assertiveness, aggression, and your ability to fight for something. So this being a square, it's a more tense aspect, and I think this could go a few different ways. At the beginning, it really depends on your temperament, and I think in this case, how it is that you assert yourself, how it is that you express yourself in more assertive, forceful, like dominant kind of fashion. So this can look like really having something to say. It can also look like words being more harsh or thoughts being more harsh, because Mars is a more harsh kind of energy. It's related to cutting and severing, and like the energy of the sword in the tarot is something that I would think of when I think of Mars and Mercury together. So all of that to say, you might have a lot to say this week. And the trine to Neptune it's a little more subtle, but I think this is also like, okay, what is it that you're drawing on at a deeper level? Are you connecting to a deeper part of yourself? Is that rooted in reality? Is it rooted in maybe not seeing things entirely clearly? So I would watch out for that as well. All right. I have 3 tips for you. I know there's a lot of information. So tip number 1 is to write down your priorities at the beginning of the week. And I like this for this week because we have that first quarter moon in Capricorn at the beginning. Is like, okay, let's get down to business. And then later in the week, there may be a lot of conflicting thoughts and ideas and even discussions that come up. So what I want for you is to stay really focused on what your priorities are for the week. The other thing that's going to help you is to write down your frustrations, maybe at the beginning of the week as well. Because this week when Mercury is so active, the mind can spin, and the thoughts can sometimes feel like they're coming really fast. Again, that depends on your temperament. You know, if you have a contemplation practice already, or something that helps you to purge thoughts and emotions, you're already ahead of the game. But this week, even if you don't do that, it doesn't matter. Writing down your frustrations at the beginning of the week is going to give an outlet for all of the mental energy. Last tip is to balance assertiveness with kindness. And I'm saying this because I think it is important to channel and to connect with the Mars energy this week. We have the Mercury square Mars. And so it's important to be assertive and to say what needs to be said. And that when it's Mercury square Mars, it can sometimes come off as being harsh. So I want for you to find a way to balance that sense of like standing up and saying, hey, this is what it is, or this is what I need, or whatever it is that needs to be said in the moment, and then balancing that with kindness so that it takes the harsh edge off. So those are your tips. I'm going to pull a tarot card for you for the week. And so this is the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. And so it can be a general theme for you for the week. If there is something that you want to know about or that is really weighing on you, you can hold that in your heart as well. This one jumped out. Okay, so we got the Ace of Pentacles, and this is one of my favorite cards. It just feels like a sweet gift kind of card. So let's break it down. So the Pentacles is about earth energy. It's about practical matters, the stuff that you can touch, see, smell, taste, blah, blah, blah. The Ace is the beginning. And this card in particular, so there's this hand that's like coming out of the clouds and is just like, here you go, here's a little gift. And I love how there's like this shining, like the pentacles like sparkling. And then off in the distance we see this beautiful little grove and field and garden area. And so this is an encouraging card, and a card that also says that there's something that's being offered to you. And something in practical, tangible terms. So I would pay attention to what it is that's being offered to you, and know that especially whatever is happening right now, that it's at the beginning stages. So those are just things to keep in mind as you're moving throughout the week, and definitely like an encouraging, supportive card. So that's your horoscope for the week. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please share it with a friend who you think would appreciate it as well. If you want to stay connected to me, you can find me on Instagram under Neo-Feminine Astrology. I post stuff about the moon cycles all week long, and if you want to get my little cheat sheet for the sign that the moon is in every single day this week, you can go to my website, and there's a little sign up thing that'll pop up, so you get that in the email on Sunday before the beginning of each week. And then, of course, if you want to know more about your astrology personally, you can get in touch with me for a personal astrology session. Wishing you a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Namaste.